normally how the podcast works is we interview the headliner for about half an hour, and then we do Punch It Up, which is the segment with you, and we ask the headliner, there's Maronzio! Just in time, we were just going to start. Very good timing. Get your butt up here. You want some water? We have one for you. You're going to sit here. Merry Christmas! Oh my God! You know, I was just looking up your credits, even though I know some of them, but what's Freaknik?
It was an animated cartoon for Adult Swim.
Perfect. Ooh, that's a good one. Let's talk about that.
Yes. One more time? I can?
Scoot up. So did you read? Do you know what we're doing? I was just explaining to Jeremy how we do this.
I do like, you interview me first and then you
Monarey and Jeff, you're going to do it too.
What's Monterey's last name?
Martinez. And Jeff, you got, what's your, I try to follow you on Twitter, so it's always so
Is that Hey There, Jeffro?
Yeah, God.
Jeremy Bassett.
Hey
So
there, Jeffro.
I was just explaining, we gotta move quick because we're running out of time,
Right.
but we're gonna interview Maronzio first for, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Don't worry.
And then we'll go into what we call the Punch It Up segment, where we then ask these wonderful new faces to come up and do 3 minutes for us. And then you and I and
This will be on the podcast.
Yes,
There's a
yeah.
lot going on. I like
It's
it.
fun, it's fun.
It's busy.
Well, we want to hear your advice, right? And they want to hear it too. And my only advice to the comics, just if I could say this, just please don't say this is so hard.
Oh, no, don't say that.
You know what I mean? Like, this is so weird, there's nobody in the audience. Because actually,
This is actually what my usual performance
Yeah.
situation is. Two comics usually.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For some reason, every single comic who comes on to do it says that, and then it just sounds like the same every week. Just have fun and do your best.
Should we
and
tell the set to you guys?
either whatever you feel comfortable. If you don't want to look at us, you don't have to. But if you talk and ask a question, I'm going to answer. Because you're asking a question. So I'm going to go, oh, yeah, I like that. I like pizza, sure. So try, it'll help you actually be a little more conversational. And the idea is to give tags or ideas or,
Question.
good, yes, exactly. Right, good
Exactly.
shit for you to take along and, yeah. And when you're done with the 3 minutes, and you don't have to go 3 minutes, but don't go too much longer because it's just too much, you'll hear this applause. And hopefully Ed won't cut off your punchline, but he's getting better. Right.
And I said she's got
Cut me
this
off.
thing
And
right
there's a
between
red
her.
light too.
I thought he was gonna
And
do that.
Richie's my default co-host, so
I'm default.
I'm the host. I'll guide it all.
You could have
Let's
just
get
said I'm
going.
today's
Let's
co-host.
go.
You could say
And we
default.
try to sort of time out the feedback.
Hey, everyone please silence your cell phones. And the music's about to start, so shh.
Quiet.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the FlappCast. Behind the Funny, where we find out what goes on behind the scenes at a comedy club. I am Barbara Holliday, and my co-host Joshua Snyder is on vacay this week in Denver, Colorado. What? So I have the lovely and talented Richy.
Lovely. I
Leis.
think that's the first time anyone ever introduced me as lovely.
Well, baldy, maybe
Thank
I
you.
should say,
Well,
right?
no, I prefer lovely.
Okay. And also our amazing headliner at Flappers Burbank this week, Maronzio Vance. What? Look how I timed that right to the music. Was that crazy?
You had that master to a T right there.
Maronzio Vance. Wow. Where do we start?
Wherever you want.
I was just bringing up some old credits on you, and I was talking about, gosh, you've been on Comedy Central. Everyone knows that. You're headlining here at Flappers this weekend.
I am. I'm having fun. I'm going to have fun this week.
What? You don't normally have fun?
I know. I normally have fun when I'm here.
Oh, excellent.
Every club is not great. Every crowd is not great. Every city is not deserving of a good show.
Do you not have fun at the not good shows?
I do have fun, but I have fun in my own way. Like, if a crowd is crummy, I'm like, all right, so this is what we're gonna do.
Right. Okay.
I'll just. It's your fault. You brought this on yourself.
So, Maronzio, I always want to know, where did you get started? How long have you been doing comedy?
I'm 38.
No.
Yeah.
You don't look it.
Now he's got that
Yeah,
good skin. It's
look at
jerky,
that.
right?
I feel it.
Well, that means you're becoming a better comic, right? You have more to bitch about.
Yes.
Yeah?
I don't know. I started when I was 15
Wow.
Oh.
in North Carolina. And I
How
watched-
did you start at 15?
Um,
What led you as a
Parents.
15-year-old?
my first comedy special, the first 3 comedy specials that influenced me was Bill Cosby himself, when he's sitting down in a chair. He shot in
Right.
Toronto
Classic.
in '82. And then Stephen Wright had a comedy special in 1986 for HBO, and it starts off with him like laying in the bed in the desert, and he gets up and walks through the desert for like, it looked like forever. And then he opens up his door, and when he walks in the door, he's on stage, and all these people are like, and I was like maybe 10 when I saw this, but his, you know, if you're familiar with Stephen Wright,
Yeah, for sure.
his humor is so fucking dry. And I was like, why do I get it? Like I was getting it
I
at
love
10.
dry.
I was like,
Well, that's the thing is if you have, if you're intelligent, you know, even at the young age, Stephen Wright is applicable.
I was laughing. I'm like 10 o'clock at night.
And your
Supposed to
parents
be
let you
asleep.
watch
My
that?
mom didn't know, but it
Oh, I see.
wasn't. But he wasn't one of those comments where you're like, cut that off. He's terrible. But he was just a nice one-liner comic that he's very cerebral. And then you know I watched that, and then I saw.
You could totally see Stephen Wright as an influence on you. Not that you do one-liners or anything like that on a regular basis. but
Maybe
you gotta,
dry
like-
delivery.
Yeah.
I have my moments where I'm very dry.
Sure.
But I'm
Moments?
not. Moments.
Just
I have a
moments.
lot of moments. But
Moments are good.
a lot of my material is storytelling, but it's a dry storytelling. And then my third special that I saw was Whoopi Goldberg's one woman show she did on Broadway. She played like 6 different characters, and I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And then from that, Jake Johansson early on, Ellen DeGeneres. I was always a Bob Newhart fan. I don't know why, but younger,
Yeah.
I love fucking Bob Newhart because he was such a great
Another
storyteller.
smart, but
Yeah,
really
you know?
smart.
And he would do like third person sometimes. I was like, I don't know how the fuck he pulled it off. But that was amazing to watch him bob and weave the stories together. I was such a, rest in peace, I was such a huge fan of Joan Rivers' quick wit and her delivery. I had a lot of fans. I was a fan of a lot of people. And then Martin Lawrence, his half-hour special he did for HBO.
Martin!
Chris Rock's big ass jokes was the beginning of what he became, what he's become now. And then Bring the Pain was like my go-to comedy special.
So what was your first opportunity to get on stage? And
I
what
was
do you
15.
do you remember your first joke?
15 in
I
the
love it,
Comedy
I love
Zone. 15 years old, I was in Comedy Zone. My girlfriend at the time, she was a year older than me. So I
Start
went,
comedy at 15, having a girlfriend.
I was a lot. There's a lot going on. But I went to
My
her
third kid.
I went to her prom with her. And in Charlotte, we had this thing where instead of having kids go out and party and drink, they say, hey, come to the comedy club and we'll have comics tell you jokes.
And the comics will drink.
Comedy show was huge then, too. Right?
It was.
15 was like the
The
biggest
comics
thing.
were terrible because they couldn't relate. Like, they were trying to tell jokes, and we, you know, high school kids were like, what is he talking about? And then one of the guys was like, who wants to come up here and try it? And I was like, fuck it.
Oh, wow.
And went on stage, and I think, like, first joke I told was about Stevie Wonder. And my first joke I wrote was, I wanted to be a school teacher, but I don't like what they're teaching. Because if you go in the classroom, they have posters, and they're inspirational posters with different quotes under each, you know, famous person. And you had, like, Martin Luther King, and you had Gandhi, Michael Jordan, like, you had all these famous people. And then in the back it had one that had Stevie Wonder, and his quote said, before I ride home with somebody drunk, I'll drive myself. And I was like, who the fuck is that sign for? Because either way it goes, you're going to die. Stevie has never seen the road before. You know, at least with the drunk guy, you got a shot. You know? And I told that joke, that was the first joke I ever told. And people laughed, and I was like, okay, I guess I could, you know.
And did you like plan it out before you went up, or did you just
No,
kind of wing
no,
it?
because we were there.
Yeah.
We was there, like
Playing around?
because comics were struggling, and it's like, who wants to try it? You know, they did that whole, who wants to come up here and
Yeah,
try
you
this
think you
job
could
that
do
you think,
this?
yeah.
Yeah.
So were you watching these guys and you're like, oh, these guys are shitty, I could do better than this?
I was like, it doesn't look this hard on TV. Like when I'm on TV, I'm like, man, Chick Johansson does not look like he is struggling like this guy right here is struggling. Am I right, guys? He was like, am I right? He was like, nope, you could not.
I
do
just
it.
picture someone
Further
like
from
me
truth.
up there on stage just sweating bullets.
Oh, God, it's 12 o'clock at
That's
night, and they're serving punch in a comedy club. It felt like we was at a church.
I've
like, why are you
done
serving
in
punch?
Florida. We had those all-nighter, the high school gigs, there where they did lock-in for the kids and they brought in comics for like a half-hour segments at a time. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning and there's a bunch of fucking braces sitting there
Praying
staring
for
at you.
drugs.
Did your chick laugh? That's what I want to know.
She did.
Did you
I
impress her?
I made a joke about how many people here spent a whole lot of money for a prom date they already slept with. It didn't go over well, but it was funny nonetheless.
So did you, after that point, did you just dive into it? Or did you
I did. I
look for
studied.
opportunities?
Like I went.
You went to class?
I went batshit. No, I just watched a lot of from North Carolina. There's no comedy classes, and I didn't have
You
anyone to
studied
take
the
me
video.
under the. No one took me under the wing. There was the comedy scene wasn't booming, so I had a lot of, studying on my own, and I just watched a lot
Smart.
of HBO.
Watching is the best.
Yeah,
yes.
and I like bought CDs and VHS was out at the time, so I had one out and bought like, a lot of-
Comicview.
Don't tell
At that
anyone.
point,
No.
I was watching Comicview.
Gary Shanley had an HBO special. He shot, I think it was in San Francisco or I forget
Oh, it
where he
wasn't
shot it,
Comicview.
but it was
Def Jam, that's
beautiful though.
Russell Simmons.
Gary
Russell-
Shanley? Oh God.
And so wait now, did you take on any other jobs, or did you just jump right in and
I
start
did
making
comedy
money?
and theater.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so
I
you
did
did.
theater, so I did like plays and stuff
That's right,
that.
like you were in Freaknik the musical.
Well, it was animated. I did a voice.
You didn't sing on there?
No, it was Freaknik. Originated in Atlanta, Georgia. It was it's like Bike Week or whatever, and it would be insane amounts of people. And God, the head of Adult Swim wanted to do a movie about it. It was originally David Banner's idea, who was a rapper. He was like, I want to do this Freaknik movie, and then it just evolved into something else. But I did Jesse Jackson's voice.
Ooh, do it.
Oh God, no.
You know, we got a show coming up, Dead Comedians.
Dead Comedians?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
on Halloween. You get to impersonate your favorite dead comedian.
Really?
Who would you do? Who would, off the top of your head?
Who would I do?
Yeah. Joan Rivers.
No, I wish. God, that's a good one. I would do Pryor.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to play him in the movie. Maybe they doing the Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah. I heard there was
Did you audition?
Marlon Wayans.
I never got an audition.
Who got it?
Mike
Gerard
Epps-
Carmichael?
No, Mike Epps is doing it.
Oh.
But I met Pam Grier, and Pam Grier was like, "You could play Richard," because she used to date Richard Pryor. Like she knew him personally. So when she saw my stand-up,
Crazy,
she
isn't it?
looked at me. She was like, "Oh God, you could play Richard. You have his mannerisms." I was like, "I don't know. I didn't really understand what she was saying, but she was like, you have certain mannerisms. Richard is scary." And I was like, "Good." Hopefully, casting.
Can you do a Pryor impression?
I don't really do. You know what?
Have you ever tried it?
Here's what I never did. Young black comics make this mistake. They become who they study.
Right.
So you have a lot of people who was Richard Pryor at one point. You had a lot of people who was Martin Lawrence at one point. You had a lot of people trying to do Eddie Murphy. You had a lot of people trying to do Kevin Hart now. And the same thing, I guess, with white comics. Everybody trying to be Dane Cook for a
Hedberg,
second.
Dane.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? It's like,
Well, how did you decide? What did you do to stand out? I mean, you're definitely like.
oh shit, I was
You're-
Chris Rock for like 2 years. I was.
How were you, Chris Rock?
Not like pacing the stage like but I was like, I dressed like him, for like I went through a whole phase where I just went all black, but the delivery was the same. It was just a little sped up, Plus me being Southern, people say, why is your delivery so slow? One, because I tell stories. Two, because I'm from the South, and if I talk too fast, I sound like a slave or a tobacco auctioneer. So I have to be mindful if I get on a roll and people are like, I can't, what the fuck you just saying? Like, I just move talk. So I had to slow it down and make sure I enunciate because I'll get lazy. Because as a comic, you know your jokes. Like, you tell your jokes because you know them, and you will tell them in a way where you just assume that people listening understood what you were saying. You know? So you get so comfortable with a joke. Like, especially after you told a joke like 1,000 times, you be like, alright, so I was walking. I fell. So.
Right, you're already thinking something else.
And then you say the punchline, the crowd don't like why the fuck they not laugh?
Yeah, you're mad at them.
Shit, y'all heard me say the punchline, and
There's
like,
a guy in the audience being like, he's
then
talking
you
like a
lash
slave.
out at the crowd like, are y'all listening? And then you start tapping the microphone, this thing on. Like, it's not them. It's you.
Great advice, actually. Responsibility. I love it. Yeah.
Comedy, like, I think the reason why comedy and theater work for me, because, you know, with theater, when we do plays, we do the same play every weekend. So you have to make it look fresh every time, even though you may be sick of, you know, the blocking and, you know, the lines or whatever. And comedy is the same. Like, when I shot my half hour for Comedy Central, the material that I was doing for the special was old. Like, I was ready to get rid of it, but I had to fall back in love with it again. So when I told it on TV, they were like, oh, he's telling this for the first time. But in my mind, I'm like, I fucking hate this joke now.
How long you been doing those jokes, though, before you came out with the special?
3 years.
Okay. Well, that's not that long to be telling a
No,
joke.
not at all. And how did you make it fresh? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
We have a lot
Did
of
you
comics
reapply?
listening.
What did
I made that classic mistake of trying to add to it. Like, I took a joke and I was like, how can I make this joke funnier? Like, I'd already
It's good.
submitted the half hour, and they were like, we like that half hour. And then I was like, all right, but I need
Here's
to be
another
happy with
15
it.
minutes.
Here's another. I literally made that mistake of writing a whole nother set.
But that's the thing is, if you're going to have that great stage time, all of a sudden you have those juices flowing, right? You're like,
I was in a
got
good
this, I
mood.
can do this.
Well, here's the downside of it. I didn't really get to enjoy filming the half hour.
What?
Because I was writing, they were doing a reboot of In Living Color at the time. And I was writing on it. So my days were 9 to 9 every day. Like, we go in the office at 9, leave at 9. So I would try to go to a comedy club to run my
After
set.
that.
Yeah. I'm tired of
Yeah.
shit. And then Keenan wasn't really accommodating because, you know, the whole thing, I could have stayed for 3 days. Like, they would have flown me in. I could have stayed a day and chill, then another day to chill, and then film it, and then fly out the next day. He was like, you can't do all that. I need you here in the office. And I was like, I can still write from a hotel room and submit shit, but, you know, it was a control issue. And I literally left work, flew, took a red eye to Boston, had a day to chill, filmed the next day, and I was up and on a plane right after my special and came right to work once I got done filming.
Comedy's hard work, isn't it? Writing.
It is, but I was not happy because I couldn't.
You couldn't sit back and really watch it happen, right?
Nothing I've done, I've had the moment to just like enjoy the moment. Like when I did Letterman, when I did Leno, they called me on that Monday. They would call me at 7:30 in the morning. They were like, "Are you in town?" And I was like, "Yeah."
You're on.
You want to do Leno today? And I was like, "Do you really have to call me and ask me if I want to fucking do Leno?"
No,
Just text me, you're
I'm
on.
thinking
Yeah,
so.
like
Yeah.
they were like, "Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they sent me. They said, "All right, this is what we need from you." They didn't even ask me to run my set. Like I had submitted a set that was at least 5 months old, and I hadn't done the set since I submitted it. I was like, "I'm gonna do these jokes. That's the set I'm gonna do." Never went back to those jokes again. So when they called me and told me they wanted me that day because somebody had fallen out, we'd have a car to come pick you up at 2. You know,
You should have been like, who's the musical guest before I...
Foo Fighters. I think Foo Fighters or somebody backed
for
out.
Jay-Z or something.
Oh God!
Did you get to interview?
Made it to the couch, but did not interview.
Oh.
You know, he like,
Yeah.
oh, Maronzio Vance will be here, and he'll be in Ontario, blah blah blah. No, but Stallone was on my show,
Frank?
and
Or
Chris Sylvester, weird augment.
there is a brother, you know.
God, yeah, no one knows Frank.
Okay. He's a musician, actually.
I'm learning about,
shows here.
and I'm learning about Frank Stallone.
Sorry. It's just a
PGW,
whole
sidebar,
other-
Frank Stallone.
Yeah, IMDb Frank, but
Let's call him up and interview him while we're doing
I didn't get to enjoy it. It was rushed because I had to.
Now, come on. Do you think you're ever going to enjoy it? Because I think that you have a comic mentality, which is you're constantly striving and changing and growing. And do you really think you'll ever be satisfied? I think then you won't be a great comic if you are. Right? I mean, it's the struggle that...
Oh, I hate comedy right now. But I do. I mean, I'm 30. I've been doing it so long.
What do you want? What do you want next, Maronzio? What would make you feel like, yeah, I really hit it, you know?
I recorded my first comedy album, and I released that in August. I sat on it for a year. Like, I had recorded it, and I was like, do I want to release it? Do I like it? I don't know if I like it. Do I like these jokes? I got better jokes. And I really, and the record label was like, you ready? And I was like, no. And like, come on, hold on. Like, you got something else in mind? No, but don't release that shit yet. I just
You have your
sat
half
on
hour
it.
already? Actually, it's now an hour and a half.
Right?
I know so many comics like this, though.
I beat myself
But
up.
you're never going to, I mean, like, at some point you have to just let it go.
I didn't watch my
You
half hour for Comedy Central until a year later.
And
would
are
not-
you happy with it?
No.
No, of
Fuck
course
that
not. This is
half
good. Are you listening, comedians?
I
This
did
is
not.
very good.
I watched I did Leno. I didn't watch it until
I did
like
watch it myself.
probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, because everybody like, did you see yourself? I was like, yeah. I saw it on the menu saying I was going to be on Leno, but I did not watch my half hour on Leno. I mean my set on Leno. I didn't watch my
half hour on Leno.
I wish.
It's like fuck Madonna.
I did Carson Daly. I never watched that set.
Well, no one watches that show.
Well, but I did it when he had an actual talk show.
When he was like hot for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he had a stage and he had an audience.
Right,
I did it then.
First
a month or
Carson.
two.
First call of Carson.
First call, and then they rushed that when they called me like the day before, like, hey, you want to do Carson? I'm like, why can't y'all fucking call me? And
give
give me
me
like
a
a week
week.
in advance so I can like, because I had to rush, get haircut, find an outfit. Like I really rushed my outfit for Leno, and I was angry, and I wanted, because I had an idea. Plus, I
You wanted
wanted
to get that Eddie Murphy all leather.
Well, I wanted to fly my mom out because I wanted her to be in the audience, and there was no way, you know, I couldn't say, hey, can I do it tomorrow? And they were like, you know, they would look at me like, what the fuck you talking about? So that never happened for Leno, and the only thing I've ever watched is that I watched when it aired was I did Comicview in 2003, my first television appearance ever. But the stipulation was, I told him, I was like, look, I'll do it, but I'm not showcasing.
What's
Like,
that mean?
Like, you had to showcase to be on the show.
right,
Like, they had
right,
like 10 or 20 comics.
Right.
And they were like, you know, you can come showcase at the Union or Laugh Factory or something like that, and then we'll pick you. I'm like, no. Like,
Pick
I'll
me
do it, but I'm not dancing for it. And they were like, okay, we'll get back to you. But then the guy who runs Chocolate Sunday, Pookie Wigginton, was like, yeah, let him do it. Like, he don't really need to showcase. And I didn't showcase. I put my foot down. That was early when I didn't care. And you go through a period. One of my best friends, rest in peace, Patrice O'Neill, he told me a story about him, and then I kind of saw myself in it. He said when he first started doing comedy, I think we all started enjoying it. Like, oh God, this is fun. I'm telling jokes, I'm making people laugh.
Bright eyes.
You're not really thinking about what it could evolve into. And then someone sees you and says, oh, we can make money off of you, or you could be great one day. Let me take control of your career. If you do this, and this, I promise you'll, and then you do all that, and if it doesn't like it wants to, you become angry, like, fuck that, I danced.
Yeah.
And no one danced with me.
Finger pointing.
Yeah, you know, like no one pulled me out the crowd. I danced, I did everything I was supposed to do, it never happened. Then you go to that period where you're angry, and then you get to that point where you are who you were supposed to be anyway. Because you're gonna keep trying to dance and no one's gonna pick you.
And then you'll be happy?
No.
I mean, how many comics are out there that are
secret.
super happy? Even the most successful
Tell us the
of
secret.
comedians aren't necessarily happy.
No,
they're pleased, maybe.
Please, it's a terrible.
Content.
I don't want to say because it sounds bad, but we have a terrible profession in the sense of we want instant gratitude. Like
It's
we
like
don't
boot
get
camp all the time. You're just always crawling through the mud, right?
We're like playoff games. You're only as good as your last game. You're only as good as your last performance. Like you have to do that. It's a different crowd. every day, every night, every week that you have to say, look, I've done this before. Ask the last crowd. You can't do that shit. You gotta be like, hey,
Check with them.
you a whole new group of people. I gotta fucking
Prove
convince
myself
that I'm
again.
like, you'll drive yourself crazy.
But then isn't that
Wait.
also semi the point of what you're trying to do? Is find the different crowds and please the different crowds, or at least not necessarily please them, but have them enjoy what you're trying
I'm
to
at the
do.
point where I'm like, fuck pleasing people.
But it's pleasing you.
I'm at the point now I
right?
perform for myself. Like I try to.
But if they're on board, that's what you're trying to
Yeah,
get.
they're on
How can
board.
I please myself with everyone in this room get on board?
Right. Because I've been writing a pilot for the past. I've written 3 pilots
There
in
it
the
is,
past
okay.
4 years.
And what's it? Yeah.
4 years, I've changed it. But the problem
And
I
have you shown it to anyone?
yeah, my agent has it, my manager has it. They like the final draft I turned in, but I wasn't happy with it. Because what I did was I wrote a show that I thought other people wanted to see, and that a show that I would fucking watch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Seems like your theme though. I'm not happy with it. It's like
I'm not.
Everybody hates Chris.
I was not like. I submitted a hat.
Never satisfied.
No, I submitted myself for late night this week, and I submitted the set. And when I was submitting it, I was like, do I want to watch me? Because now I want to do shit that I want to see me do. A lot of it was me doing it because I want people to like me, and I'm really not.
Isn't that the natural step though, to see yourself and then be like, well, I didn't like that, let me do it again? And isn't that the
You don't always get
motivation?
an opportunity to do it again.
Sure, but isn't that the motivation to restructure and attempt to get it again?
That's like saying, hey, I made the Super Bowl this year. Fuck, I fucked up. I'll do it better next year when I get back to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's the thing, is it takes a lot to get back to Super Bowl. If you could do that.
Hey, this is hilarious because Maronzio, it's not like you worked in a fish hatchery or anything. You
No.
know? Like you've gone right
I've
from
done-
15 to what? You started
Comedy
performing
Central.
yeah, and then you got a writing gig. And,
Yeah, I've
so
done.
you are a successful comedian,
I
my
am,
friend.
in the light of other comedians who have not done what I've done, I am successful.
And what is your writing process? I'm curious. Do you actually have one, or because you said you never took a class or anything, you
For
watch?
stand-up or
Yeah,
TV?
for stand up. Like you watch videos and then do you write your stuff down? Do you record it? Do you-
I'm OCD, so this is one of the reasons why I'm single. My writing process
One of the
is
reasons.
I have notepads, and I'll have an idea for a joke, and I write the entire joke out. I don't say sandwich meat and then like go on stage like and riff about it. I actually write the whole entire joke out completely, and then I rewrite it again in a different notepad. For some reason, I can't write the same joke in the same notepad. I don't know. It's like a part of me is like, no, we need to, because I feel like a fresh start and a new pad, something new will come out of it. I'm not.
Does it?
I have fucking bought Office Depot.
I was going to say, you should get an Office Depot to sponsor your
owns
next.
me. So what I do now is I have like 50 notepads, ledgers, just dollar store pads everywhere. There's notepads by my bed, there's notepads in the bathroom, notepads in the kitchen, notepads on my coffee table. I play Call of Duty like it's going out of style. So I'll sit there with my headphones on, I'll be playing the game, but my notepads are in front of me. If I think something, I don't give a fuck what's going on, I'll pop it off and I'll start writing. And some of my best jokes have come to me when I'm playing video games.
While
I can't
murdering.
explain it. Yeah, while I'm killing
While
like
shooting and killing.
100 people. And I'm like, oh, that's a good
Hilarious.
joke. I just shot that dude in the
Damn
head.
you Nazis, but this is a great joke.
Right? I'm like, oh, I just shot that dude in the head. Great joke. Here it comes. Right? So, but I write the same joke over and over and over completely. Like every word that I think I would say. And I rewrite it over and over because then I'll learn it faster. And if it reads funny when I perform it, I think it'll be funnier.
How do you feel about your memory writing versus typing?
I don't like typing the joke out.
It's weird.
It's
isn't
not.
it?
It's not the same because
No.
it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like I'm connected with the joke. I feel like someone else is doing it for me. Like, and the joke and the I don't. Scripts different, sketches different, but like writing my joke out. The only thing I get away with is like I have Evernote in my
iPhone?
one of my best apps ever is Evernote, and every joke I think about, I type it in this, and then it also has an application in the app where I can like recite.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
talk. And I'll talk the joke out. And I'll write it like, because I write the same joke over and over and over, and I'll write it a different way. I'm never happy with it the very first time.
You want to hear something funny? That a guest just came and wrote a complaint about a comedian in the Yoo-Hoo room, and they basically were saying that you shouldn't look at your cell phone right before you go on stage, because why would you need to look at your notes?
Right.
I mean, a guest said that. So it's really an interesting perception that the audience has about what you're doing on your phone if you've got your phone in a showroom.
Right.
Just something I thought comics should hear about, because I thought that was really interesting. And I know what the comic was doing.
Right.
But they're just, before they go on stage, they're just reminding, and they're not going to bring, but can you imagine, I've seen comics do it on stage. I don't think you should do it on stage.
I don't take
It's
my,
horrible.
I don't look at my phone like, oh,
Right.
hold on.
Yeah, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're not important. What are you looking at? We don't know you're
Was it
looking at
ever
us.
I'll take my notepad.
Evernote.
Evernote.
Evernote is like the best app.
I'm going
I've
to
ever
have to
used.
download
It's-
that. Great advice.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Like, it's so good that it'll like, it lets you know
It
the
writes
location.
for you.
Well, it's
So
the
good.
it lets you know the location. So you're like, where was I at when I remember the joke?
Oh,
So
great.
it'll
Yeah.
let you know. So I stand by that. And
Wow.
then I have the notepad on that.
Yeah, I use my notepad.
Did you
I'm
hear
getting
about
adjusted.
did you hear about this new app called Good to Go?
No.
There's this new app. It's called Good to Go, and young people are using it to help with sexual awareness, basically. So
An
on your
app,
app, you download this thing. It's called Good to Go, and so you're in the you're getting ready to do it or whatever.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
pull up your app
And
and
you-
you go, I'm good to go, and then you sign on and
You
you
have to-
say.
you have to fill out a thing,
approve
right?
if you're ready to have sex. basically.
Hilarious.
Yes, and then it spits
I
out
filled
a
it out 3
condom.
times
If
today.
you say yes, it spits out a condom.
That's for young people.
Yes, it is.
Because no adult's gonna be like,
Don't
fill that out.
seriously, are you good to go? What? Oh
are
wait,
you gonna?
I'm not downloading fast enough.
How do you download that? What is the app?
Good to go.
What, I mean, what are you doing?
I'm
though? Like
serious. I'm dead serious.
For consent.
I
a
know.
consent form.
Yeah,
Yes.
Court.
So no, I'm not good to go.
I mean, that helps if you're a pedophile. And you're like,
Anyway,
if you're an older,
Good to go?
if you're an older guy,
10
like,
minutes.
oh, Jesus.
isn't that hilarious? Boy, our world has changed though. I mean, when I started doing comedy,
You didn't have a good to go.
no, my tapes are on beta. I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh,
Like,
I have.
I
Did
can't
you hear
even
about
watch
the
my old
amazing new
tapes.
site for single women to go to find
Beta?
attractive men? No, it's richyleis.com.
Oh, I haven't heard about that
Yeah,
one.
I'm putting Ronzo's picture up there because they attract women that like the chocolate.
Oh, Joshua Schneider, virgin, I miss you. If you're listening.
Joshua Snyder's a virgin.
Yeah. he
No,
was
no,
a
recently
virgin.
deflowered.
Not anymore.
How old is he?
He got on the
32.
Good to Go app.
Wait.
Everything's
How old is
cool
he?
now.
32.
32.
He was a virgin.
Till about 4 months ago, maybe.
He's
Yeah.
married?
6 months
No,
ago?
no.
He's married.
Yeah. That's why he was a
One
virgin.
time.
Yeah.
Baby,
No,
here's
he
a
was
ring.
single. Seriously.
And he got married
No, he didn't
No,
get married.
no, he
He's
just
just
got
on vacation
laid.
right now.
after 32 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the holdup?
Have you ever met him?
No.
He's
He wasn't
very
good to go.
got that inner monologue. Yeah.
32?
Yeah.
He's the fucking AC Green of comedy.
You know the first thing he said after he had sex? I gotta go get tested. Like that's
I have
just so
AIDS.
neurotic.
I
He's
have
so
AIDS.
neurotic. Yeah.
I have AIDS.
I have AIDS.
I have AIDS. Don't talk to me. Oh my God, I can't think. I think I have
32?
AIDS. Yeah. Well, there's our little tribute to Joshua
Shout out
Snyder.
to Joshua.
Yeah, he's listening.
So, Maronzio,
Lady.
you're gonna be here this weekend, Friday and Saturday,
Friday,
8
Saturday.
and 10 o'clock. Great shows in Flappers Burbank.
Maybe
Yes.
you'll do a
Please
little
come.
prior that week.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe you'll do 5 minutes.
What's
prior.
your Twitter? Do you have a Twitter account?
At Maronzio Vance.
And Maronzio is so hard to spell. Tell us how to spell it.
MARONZIO.
Does everyone spell it wrong?
Vance.
No.
They just fuck it up.
Moron. They
I don't
spell
know
it
what
like
the fuck it
moron, Zio.
Listen, here's a disclaimer
It's
before
ma-
you follow me
ma.
on Twitter. I am not the happiest person. I am,
All
I'm
right.
very,
Good advice.
I'm a happy grump.
Follow the happy
I'm a
grunt.
happy, but the name of my half-hour special was Angry Smiler. Because people are like, you never smile. I
It's very appropriate.
I'm not a smile, I smirk.
You smirk, that's for sure.
I'm a smirker.
We could hear you smirking.
I'm
We
a
don't have
smirker.
to-
I'm not like, too many, you know how many muscles it takes to fucking smile? Like 72
I smile.
muscles.
I smile a lot.
Jeez,
I know, it's weird.
You know,
I'm
would there
too
be
bad.
any chance, Maronzio, that you'd want to do a Patrice O'Neill impression during the...
We keep trying to talk you into dead comics.
No.
I mean, because you, someone who knows him, that would
I
be
love-
epic, man. That
it
would be
was
It's a
so
tribute,
epic.
really.
I watched
I mean, you know,
it's
Patrice
fine.
O'Neal's one of my favorite. I think most people's all-time favorite. I've seen him destroy it, like growing up in Florida.
Yeah.
You know, his just first of all is hilarious, but then doing crowd work and stuff.
It's genius.
Yeah.
I can honestly say, out of all the comics I've ever worked with or just seen in a club, I've never seen him have a bad set.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, it wouldn't matter what was going on. He took, you know, he dominated the room. I mean, he was a walk of life. You're talking about a guy that's 6'5", 300 pounds, but he's like this likable, adorable, fucking huge.
I was
teddy
listening to
bear.
one of his Mark Maron shows, like just last week. It's just unbelievable.
It's so-
he was actually talking about relationships and stuff, which, you know, it's weird.
I traveled with him
because
for a
he's
year.
big, yeah.
Like open up for him. Like it was.
Oh, what
I didn't like featuring for people, but if I feature for someone, it's somebody that I liked. Like money was never like I need to get on the road and make money, but I need to be able to enjoy who I'm working with. And when I worked with him, the conversations that we had, like just hanging out, was so funny because
He's a happy, dry guy. You're a smirky, dry guy.
God, he's so his hour special, Elephant in the Room.
Watch that.
It was like the best comedy special I've seen, honestly, in years. Like, my top 5 right now, if I need a go-to say, I need to be inspired, Bring the Pain, Chris Rock's Bring the Pain, Elephant in the Room. I'll watch Dave and Tosh Happy Thoughts. Like, I like Tosh. Like, it's an acquired humor.
Yeah.
But I like Tosh.
Well, he's sarcastic as hell.
Oh, I love it. I'm not sarcastic, but
No, but
just one liner of sarcastic. Bill Burr. Anything Bill
Oh,
Burr
yeah.
does. I can't just pinpoint one special, but anything Bill Burr does.
Have you seen Bill here? You know he comes here a lot, right?
No, I haven't seen. I haven't
Oh,
come
he's
to
been
it.
here a lot. Yeah.
I will watch. Here's a testimony. Here's a testament to a comic. If I
Just-
pay to see you,
Uh-huh.
you fucking good.
Yeah.
I'll pay.
Do you know how many comics come and pay to see Bill Burr? Lots. They
Lots.
do.
Yeah.
They.
there's 2 here that we're going to see in 2 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. I
Bill
mean,
is
big name comics too. Headliner.
Yeah.
people.
Bill. I'll pay to see.
Yeah.
Tosh, I'll pay to
And
see.
no one even balks about it. It's
No.
Yeah.
'Cause it's,
So Maronzio, we do this great segment in our podcast called Punch It Up, where
Okay.
we invite some new comics to come on and do 3 minutes, and we ask you for your amazing feedback and
All right.
maybe some tags, advice. Are you willing to get into that with us?
I am.
Okay, perfect.
Don't take me
So-
serious.
No.
I'm joking.
Do you need a pen or anything, or
Nah.
no? No, he's got Evernote. So let's bring on our first comedian, Richy. Do you want to introduce who's first?
Yeah, your first comedian coming to the stage, all the way from probably getting a haircut because it looks very clean cut today.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bassett, everybody. Round of applause.
Let's get into 3 minutes.
Bassett with a hot
And then we'll have
3
you
minutes.
hang out with us over
Hot
here.
haircut, 3 minutes.
Guys, I am from the great city of Chicago. Most of my family is from there, but I've also got a couple cousins and an aunt who live down in rural Tennessee, in like the deep, deep South, away from everybody, right? I've only gone to visit them one time, because when I did, I found out this is what they like to do for fun. They like to go to Civil War reenactments, not ironically, like all the time. Same way we go to movies, they like to go see the most depressing war in American history, just done all over again, right? Like, they watch the History Channel, like, not good enough. I want to see the 4-hour-long staged version of all that, right? They drag me to go see one of these things. My cousin just liked to watch, but I found out watching there's 2 kinds of guys who do Civil War reenactments. There's a guy who takes it way too seriously, who's like a method actor. I saw one guy, he got shot, went down on his knees in front of all of us, and had like literal tears coming down his face, right? I'm like, dude, you are way too good for this. Go to New York and do Broadway, right? But on the other end of the spectrum, I saw the opposite. The guy doesn't take it seriously at all. I saw one guy, he got shot, went down to die for about 5 seconds, then popped his head back up and rested it on his hand so he could watch the rest of the battle. And then he opened up like his beautifully made Civil War jacket and pulled out a Subway sandwich and started eating it as he was watching the rest of the battle, right? Because scurvy was a big deal back then, guys. You gotta eat fresh, am I right? Anyways, guys, spoiler alert, the South loses, right? not just this battle, but the whole war. And everybody got so depressed watching this. I'm like, you know what? If they're all getting that bummed out about it, it's just an act of theater. Screw it. Have the South win the whole thing this time, right? It's all just make-believe. Like, make it fun for everybody, you know? Have, like, Doc Brown from Back to the Future show up in the DeLorean, start passing out AK-47s to the South. But also, on the other side, have, like, the Terminator and Wolverine and Blade Vampire Hunter come back in time and start fighting for the North, right? Like, Lord knows Wesley Snipes needs the work, you know? Like, Hollywood loves a good reboot. Let's have the Transformers fight the whole thing this time, you know? Like, who would have a tear coming down their face watching Optimus Prime read the Gettysburg Address? I think it'd be beautiful, right? Anyways, just watching this, you know, like, why are they reenacting? Like, I'm from Chicago. Like, we don't try and recreate the whole thing where the cow knocked over that lamp and burnt the whole city down. It's too depressing. Like, why are they that into it? And then it hit me. They're like a high school coach trying to show their team where they went wrong, right? Like, they're pulling down a little thing. They're like, all right, Ezekiel, next time you got to go left. Billy Bob, you got to, like, bob and weave in there. You got to get through there, you know? The South is trying to rise again, guys. We got to get ready, all right? There's more PSA at this point, okay? All right, my name's been Jeremy Bassett. Thank you for listening.
All right, Jeremy. Bring that microphone. You don't even have a seat with us. All right, thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you.
Did you have some fun?
I did.
Yeah. How long have you been doing comedy, Jeremy?
I've been doing comedy. I've been in stand-up for 4 years. Before that, I did improv off and on for about 5 years. I started when I was like 17 at the Second City High School program back in Chicago.
Ooh, I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah.
Second City High School.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's like fame, huh?
yeah.
It's had like a lot more ironic conversations.
There's no talking. There's just singing.
The teachers, yeah.
I would say just, you know, even though it's just 3 minutes, is just to come up a little slower.
Oh, okay.
You know, the fact is, like, you're speeding through your material, but just enjoy it. Get through it. You don't have to rush it. You know, you still had another 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So if you just, you know, come on with a little slower pace, but it's all funny. And the only thing that I say is, you know, when you do the, you say scurvy, and then you say eat fresh, I would say eat, you know, Subway, because you got to eat fresh so you don't get scurvy.
Right. Flip it
So
around.
say eat fresh first so that we know what it is, and then bring the punchline, which is scurvy.
Okay.
Well, otherwise hilarious. So
Fresh
funny.
scurvy.
I could really picture what you were saying, you know, with the whole Civil War thing. You could see it, which is so funny.
You still get scurvy. It's just fresh scurvy.
I actually have
That's
scurvy right now
definitely-
because I haven't eaten Subway in a week.
Wow.
Did you have fun?
I did, actually.
Do you like the joke?
This is probably my second favorite thing of the new things I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Second.
There's a lot of, you know, a lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah.
It's like when I say that, like, you could expound a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could add to it.
The only other thing I had, because it was already getting like a little too long, is I want to be like, well, if you really want to do like recreations, like they should come out to Los Angeles, because all those guys really want to fight for the South, and then have them go against like the Bloods and the Crips, and like
Right.
see how that would actually look, but not see anybody get hurt with like a paintball game or a laser zone. I didn't like quite know where to go with it, so I kind of ended up dropping it.
Right.
Now, see, I really wanted to see. think you have two places where you really should do an act out. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to push you, but like for example, you know, when the guys get shot, and then you know he literally dies, and then you know you did it just a tad with your hand, but like I really felt that was a place you could have done a strong.
More.
Yeah, because you're an improv. You have an improv background. Now that I
Right.
know that, I'm like, come on, give it to me. And there was an earlier one too, earlier in the battlefield. I just thought that it might be fun. Don't just tell us about it, but and then I'm thinking Maronzio's here, and he's a storyteller guy.
Oh yeah.
But like you set it up, and then I thought you were gonna act it out.
Kind of expanded the like method actor, like how
Well, I
much
was kind of
prepares-
missing.
Yeah,
Do you know
Well,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
you can, because here's the thing. I think we live in a generation now, comedy, where comics think we work on commission. Where they think you have to tell as many jokes as you can in a certain amount of time.
Right,
And I
right.
think I blame that on the alternative comedy scene situation.
Or-
Yeah, 12.
Well, I mean, any
Yeah, with short attention span
Right.
also. So, but if you have an engaging story, you know, people will listen. I don't subscribe to we gotta move fast because people won't pay attention. But I think a lot of that story you can act out a lot of it.
Okay.
And when you see the guy on the ground pull out the sandwich and whatever, Like, how does that make you feel? Like, you mad? You're like, I'm paying for this shit, and the guy's eating, you know, can I have some of that sandwich? Where the fuck did he get Subway from? Like,
What kind of guy does Civil War and then eats a Subway?
yeah,
And what, what's the decision over Quiznos?
Yeah, right?
yeah. Like,
Quiznos. It's not even in business anymore.
Because they were with
We
the
got
South.
a
That's
pepper
why they were with the
bar.
South. They got.
But Optimus Prime reading the Gettysburg, when you
That's funny.
said that though, I'm like, I gotta see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
such a strong setup. You're like, and I think that then you went to the next thing so quick that I was like, what?
Like, you left that open.
I
Like,
wanna
you threw
see
that out
that.
there and was like, y'all figure out what that fucking
Right,
sound
right.
like. Yeah.
But you already went to the next joke, so I don't have time to figure it out. So
Right,
either
right.
you have to give it to me, or I would love to see that. Optimus Prime reading
that's
the
a really
Gettysburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things is when a comic tells you and you're thinking about it already and you've got the image in your head and then he shows it to you.
Right.
It makes it even funnier than the image I had in my head. That's always my favorite part about stand-up comedy. Instead of just leaving it, do
just
your job.
adds to
Paint a better picture, yeah.
Yeah, it just adds to it. Like, you get more. Instead of, like, writing a bit and then just saying it, you can also show it. That way you ain't gotta fucking, like, struggle to try to come up with another fucking joke.
And I always say this too, though. I would like to know a little bit more about you, even in a 3-minute set. And I'm sure Maronzio can
Yeah.
tell you this. Like, I don't know why you're telling me about the South. I guess I know you're from there, but like, I mean, I just need a little something about Jeremy that gives me a perspective of
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
like, your parents were in the Civil War reenactments and you hated it, or I don't know. There's just a little something
Maybe,
missing
Yeah,
about
why
you.
they, like, just explain
Yeah.
why you're
Right.
going, why they going to the reenactment.
Yeah, fucking in high, just graduated from high school.
Look
and
at the
high
family
school.
member, you're like,
Yeah.
you don't go watch
Yeah.
cousin.
So
Right,
a little
right,
bit of
Again.
personal context, which would give it all just a little more strength, I think.
What about the
So-
girls who are doing the reenactment?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother
Like,
thing.
are you hitting on these girls? Is that why you're there?
Well, I was
You
like
watching
12 at
because
the
there's a hot
time.
chick?
Yeah, right. My parents went to go visit my family down there, and my dad actually got into like a screaming argument with one of the women there because she was probably a little crazy herself, and her points of view about the Civil War were probably not historically accurate. My dad was fighting her on it. He got into like a screaming match.
Your dad
Oh
was the North
shoot!
versus the
You
South.
could
That's
tie
great.
this in with the little domestic abuse shit that's going on too. Like, you know, a paddle. Screw that! Getting spanked with a paddle, man. My dad
right.
spanked with a rifle during the Civil War reenactment.
I'd like to see her
Take
start
that, bitches.
imaginarily shooting your father with a, bringing him into the
Screaming was bad enough. trust me.
Well, we've got a couple more comics, so I want to just thank you, Jeremy. Anything else?
Good job. No,
Maronzio?
anything-
Thank you, Jeremy Bassett. All right, keep an eye out for him. Who else do we have, Richy? Got another one?
Coming up next, she is originally part of the the McCoy family. Please give a warm round of applause for Monterey Martinez, everybody. Monterey.
Not the city.
Hey, you guys, I realize what I've been doing wrong with my dating life. I'm kind of anorexic about it. I see men, I look at them as food. I'm like, ooh, that looks good. That's on sale. I want one of those. And then I just hate everything once it's inside of me. So that's a problem. Also, it's hard for me to date because I like to date according to my breast size. I have smaller breasts, so I prefer to date someone with smaller hands so I don't feel inadequate. And the problem is, like, that leaves me only with like children or Mexicans. I'm not gonna date children because they don't have jobs. And I can't date Mexicans because I'm Puerto Rican. And everybody knows one Hispanic plus one Hispanic equals a baby. I don't really like children. For me, it goes like cancer and then children. But at least with like cancer, people are happy for you when you get rid of it. I realize as I get older too, like my priorities have shifted. When I was younger, I used to care about like having a family, having a career, and now I just care about like seeking revenge against everybody. You know, people who don't laugh at my jokes. I think that when I was younger, I used to have a problem with masturbation. I didn't know it was a thing. I was just doing it. And then I realized that it was a thing, and then I was like, I love this. And I thought that I should teach people this. And I was like 9 years old. I went to a sleepover one time, and a bunch of girls were like showing me their Barbies. And I was like, girls, that's great. I learned how to make my vagina explode. I can teach you this too. I got suspended at school when I was like in 3rd grade. Can't teach people how to masturbate. That's the thing. I also realized I have anxiety. It's kind of hard to have certain type of jobs if you have anxiety. I was a nanny at one point, worst idea ever. And I remember that one of the girls came into the room one time and she was like, Monterey, there's something in my room. I was like, you need to be more specific. Is this a real thing? Is this just your imagination? And also, I'm not a hero. I'm just older than you. Why do I have to sacrifice my life for you? I think the adults are the more important ones. I can just make more children. You know? Let's get rid of you. All right, I think that's my time, right?
Monterey! Yeah. Welcome, welcome. Monterey, you're pretty new to comedy, right?
Yeah, it's been like a year and a half.
I wasn't sure. Wow.
Oh, she still has the new car smell. She doesn't know it's gonna hurt. Like,
My advice right off is also Richy said earlier, but slow down.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Oh my
Yeah.
God. You know, you have some really nice stuff in there. And
Yes.
I'm going to say, I always do this, but woman to woman, don't be afraid to express your opinions. I love
sure.
the children's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a woman who does not like children. And but then you went to the masturbation, which actually sort of degenerated
I
your
forgot the
smart
joke
stuff.
that came after, and I was like, just do one that you know.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. But I thought the other stuff was so smart and everything around it, you know, and you want to hear something, this is going to sound crazy, but I did just watch Jim Jeffries' special. I don't know if anyone...
there.
Yeah, but let me tell
So
you,
good.
but here's what happened.
Jim
But all that
Jeffries is my
sex
favorite.
stuff was, I love Jim Jeffries. I'm a huge Jim Jeffries fan. But I do think it was that one section where he put in all that sex stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of didn't fit with all the rest. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you
don't
mean, because
know.
a lot of people, comics make that
weird.
mistake sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because a joke is funny doesn't mean it fits the
Because
set.
all the gun stuff and the
Yeah.
and it was like all around
He was on this
it.
political thing,
Yes,
and like,
and
he just
then
like, trying to
fucking her up the
and talk about
ass.
pussy, and then you're like, oh, where did it go? Where's the pussy go?
Right. So I mean that's like an exaggeration and a tangent, but I'm saying it's sort of along that same line because you have some really smart female, opinions, which you don't. Women don't express them enough. Like, we're supposed to want to have the children and the
get
family
married.
and succumb to the men. And so I liked hearing that part of you. I do have one note real quick on the top, though. I think you're using the wrong word when you said anorexic about it. No,
Uh-huh.
you're being bulimic about
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Because
that's
you're
right.
gorging.
Right.
You're
Like,
gorging
I
on
should have
these
known
guys.
that.
No,
That's
but
I'm
it
kidding.
just was odd.
Just
'cause
kidding.
Anorexic is starting,
Yeah,
but bulimic is,
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, just maybe try that switch there.
Definitely.
Um,
I think don't I originally say bulimic? Yeah, I just messed that up.
You nervous?
I know, yeah, I normally say bulimic, and I
writers are
heard
here.
myself say it, and I was like, oh, you're saying the wrong words
writers are down
again.
here.
All right.
Yeah.
I love that concept though. Like I gorge on them, and then I'm just
Yeah.
disgusted.
I mean, it's so much, like, once again, there's a lot of meat
Yeah.
left. Because that bit could go on
Yeah.
with the whole bulimic, and I date men, like, food.
Yeah.
You like, just give different examples, like, when I'm being cheap, I go out with this guy.
Yeah.
Or if I feel like I should treat myself, I go out with this guy.
You
Or whatever.
Can you give some advice to young comics that, especially we write for, and I'm not saying I'm a young comic, but especially when I was a young comic, I was writing to write a joke.
Yeah.
And I was doing the premise punch, but what I wasn't getting to is the meat on the bone.
Right.
Yeah.
If you find a joke that works, then
Why?
how do you explore it into
Why?
moving on into more of a structured joke rather than just a bit? It takes like 5 bits to have a really good joke.
God, how can I say this without making it sound vulgar?
You can sound vulgar.
A joke is like sex. It is, because foreplay
Yeah.
is the telling of the joke. The punchline is, the climax.
Right.
Like, take your time
Punch it home.
and get to it. Like, if the joke is good, the punchline will be great, but people want to rush and just get to the laugh
Right.
Men
instead
want
of
to
taking
rush.
it.
And then like sex, you get
Men
sick
want
of it
to
after a
rush. Yeah.
while, right?
Like,
Once you're sick of it. after a
Yeah,
while.
and then you get rid of that joke. And you
Right.
go on.
Enjoy the story. Let it
Yeah, you
develop.
have to. It's because here's the thing. What is one technique? I'll take a story that I want to tell, and I'll take all the important parts of that story, and I'll try to figure out a way to tell a joke about each important part of that story. You know what I mean?
Right.
That way you have a bit.
Right.
Because comics don't know how to write. Well, I ain't gonna say all comics don't, but comics have difficulty writing bits now. They just try to write.
Developing.
Yeah, developing a bit, you know, and I think a lot of it is shock value comedy now, where people just say stuff
Right.
just
Like
to
when,
get.
when Monterey said, I looked for a man with small hands, right? Because I've got small breasts. I would love to hear the story
Yeah.
of the ogre that groped you, and you realize he put his hand on your chest, and his
Yeah.
fingers touched your spine, like
Yeah.
on the back. You know, it's like.
And like, what's your alternative if you can't find a guy with small hands? Like, what are you gonna do?
Just like
And
try
how
to
do you
date
know? Do
someone
you
who's like a
know
little bit
this?
less attractive than you are, because that makes you feel better. At least for me,
You
right?
specifically
right?
does, yeah.
Technique-wise, because I'm always trying to, give, like, it's easy for us to just say how to do it, but how can you structurally actually do it? And
sure.
one of the things is, like, this bulimic concept, we all, I think, agree it's a good idea. So what you can do is look at all the POVs around it. What
Yeah.
does the toilet think about the dating? What does the guy think about dating? What does your mom think about the dating? What does your dad think about the dating? What does your ex-boyfriend? What do these bulimic guys think? Or the
Like,
guys
there could be
that
a
you date?
callback in there
Yeah.
where like, oh, you must be eating cheap.
Yeah.
You know, like someone sees somebody, they like, oh,
Yeah.
you're in the junk food right now. I don't know.
And you
Something
can
like-
write down all the words associated with bulimia and anorexia, and I'm sure that you can parallel them to
Yeah.
the dating,
sure.
and just write them all down. And
Is there
you'll
a
be
setup
amazed
to the
what's-
masturbation? Like, is this something that you walk into to get to the masturbation? Because I mean,
It was
It's-
just like I forgot what I said, and I was like, "Oh, talk about your problems."
Masturbation!
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, is there like, what do you normally say to set that up?
I just say it comes after another joke, like talking about molestation. Because why would we not talk
The
about it?
N words. The N words. Very popular.
And then it just
M&Ms.
like leads to that in a perfectly smooth way.
Okay. No, I'm just asking. I was like
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
I was thinking of a joke. You could say masturbation sucks nowadays because you have to use the Good to Go app.
You have to get permission
I
from
don't know.
yourself.
You got to get permission
Exactly.
before you can make sure it's okay.
But I like the fact that I think for her to just now, I guess we've been doing a year and a half. You said a year and a half?
Yeah.
I like the fact that she doesn't use a lot of unnecessary words.
True.
Like, a lot of people just ramble. She didn't so, and then,
Right.
she didn't have to backpedal. Like, everything was edited. I guess you could say edited.
You've written your shit down.
I
Yeah.
came in before I did stand up. I always wanted to be a writer, so I'm kind of very similar, and I have like 18 notebooks too. I write everything, and then like I say it in the mirror because I talk to the mirror a lot, and I cry to it too. It's awkward. But I just say it in the mirror, and then I'm like, hey, you have a bunch of words that don't need to be there, and then I just cut them out.
Ooh, good. Good
Yeah.
technique. Good.
Yeah, because just like for a joke, one word could change the whole dynamic of a joke. Like one word. Like you can say the same joke over and over and over, and if you just change one word, it can like change the whole complexion of the joke. I mean, a lot of people don't think about it, but
Definitely.
wordplay is very important.
Richie, do you have anything else?
No, it sounds
Monterey?
great.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Monterey.
Thank
I
you.
hope that was helpful for you.
It definitely
All
was.
right, we have time for one more.
Coming to the stage, originally from Boston. Please give a warm round of applause for Hey Jeffro, Jeff May, everybody.
May.
Jeffro.
Never gonna get that Twitter account right. I am. I'm Jeff May. I am from Boston, Massachusetts. In case you couldn't tell by everything about me, people walk up to me all the time. They're like, "You're from Boston, right?" I'm like, "Oh, because of the hat." And they're like, "No, you're just a loud white asshole." I'm like, "Touche. That is definitely our thing." It's weird if you've never been to Boston. It is a weird place, man, because the nightlife is crazy. Like you don't know if someone's trying to fight or get laid until the very last sentence. It's like, hey, were you looking at me over there? Oh, you want to step outside? I think you're wicked pretty. Oh, okay. It was close. We almost saw something really bad happen. Guys, a lot of scary news, a lot of scary stuff going on the internet. I'm on my Facebook page, and I see a lot of like really, really scary stuff. The number one thing that I'm the most scared about, not sure if you guys are aware, Matt Anderson is making artificial intelligence. You might be a little confused. He's a guy I went to high school with, and we almost failed science together. And now he's creating why we're going to die in 3 months. That's, I don't know if you knew this. To get a gun, you need a license. There's a waiting period, and those will kill one person at a time. To create artificial intelligence, you just need a Mac. That's all you need. Just a computer and The landline, really. You don't even need Wi-Fi for that. Just make it happen. And there's a reason I'm upset about this. There's a reason I don't like it, and it's because I'm definitely dying first. Like, I'm not making it to the Resistance. I'm not one of the guys in the military in those movies. I'm the guy that, like, made it in the papers, first guy killed, you know? Because I'm big and stupid. And that's a terrible combination of things to be. Because I'm going to be like, yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure I could box this Terminator. As I shatter my fist on a steel skull and lasers go through my stomach. That's the end of my story. That's it. It's just not going to go well. It is not going to end well. I'm not a fan. Technology has gotten me over a few times already. Facebook can pick me out of a crowd, you guys. Facebook's just like, hey, that's you up there in that top corner of 30 people, right? And I'm like, yeah, app on my phone. Thanks for recognizing me. I'm saying, if Facebook can pick me out of a crowd, I'm pretty sure a robot with a machine gun can do the same thing. And it's like, you're making artificial intelligence. You're clearly kind of a nerd. Have you not seen any movie ever? Have you not seen The Matrix or Blade Runner or 2001 or AI? That one gets its own movie. It's got the title right there. Or The Terminator or Terminator 2. Or Terminator 3? Terminator 4? Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles, guys, there's a theme here, okay? And by the way, none of these movies are like, well, we created AI and it went great. It's always like, well, we created AI, then the blood, just a lot of blood, just blood everywhere. One time, a GPS convinced me to get onto a ferry. A GPS in my car had me turning. I'm like, where the hell are we going? Next thing I know, it says, get on the ferry. That's a street GPS. Don't tell me to get on a boat. I did. I totally did. I listened to exactly what it would tell me to do. Last week, stubbed my toe on a refrigerator. It wasn't coming for me. It was just minding its own business, and it destroyed my day. So, technology's not going to treat me well. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Thank you very much. I've been Jeff. Oh, they clapped for me.
Jeff can talk.
Who are you, Jeff? What do you do?
He's from Boston.
I know he's from Boston.
I'm a comedian. I'm doing a show at your club tonight.
Excellent.
That's good.
No, seriously, like, do you have a job?
Okay, I'm a retired teacher. I'm a retired teacher, and I am currently, because I'm a comedian in LA, I drive people around using an app based. There you go. I was, and then I got into a terrible accident, and now I'm trying to get back in.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. That's the new thing. Are you a waiter?
Yeah.
You like it?
I did, yeah. I mean, I guess some stuff has gone down since August 6th when I got into my bad accident. Did I mention it was a bad accident? No, since I got into the accident, I literally just bought a car today.
Mazel tov.
Oh, good for you. That's the new line. It's like, are you a waiter?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I'm an Uber driver.
Yeah.
Like, are you an actor in LA? No, I'm an Uber driver.
I got in the car accident on the 18th.
Oh,
Cars?
134, guy rear-ended me. This is my second car accident in 9 months.
It's out here in LA. It's like the old west, man. Just stuff just happens, and
my body had just gotten to the point where I was like, oh man, we can do stuff again. And then the car hit me again. I'm like, so what's not doing shit for the rest of the
But what's the thing with taking rides with strangers? Now this is the in thing.
I'm cleared.
I don't get it.
I'm cleared. I passed the background check.
Okay.
That's all you need.
I know some comics who drive around. They give out tickets to their shows, and they get good fan base.
I've had a lot of people show up to shows.
Jeff May drove my ex around.
I did. I drove his ex around.
Ex-girlfriend
Yeah.
particularly?
No, ex.
All
All
All right, I'm done. I'm out of here.
So what's the difference now? Anyway, but Jeff, that was great. You have very strong opinions, a great stage presence.
I would just say slow down, take your time.
I think everybody went fast because they under the time restraint. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta say as much as I can. He's a classical. He did like 35 jokes just in 3 minutes. He just did it half-hour special for us.
I can't. It's all funny. I can't help it.
He's like, I'm telling you every joke I get.
Now, I have some tighty-whitey stuff for you. Like to tighten up.
I have some tighty whities for you later. We're
Excellent. I
gonna work
love
something
it.
out.
Love it. In the Uber car. Pick me up. Okay. Just a few little technique things that I think you could cut out. You said it quite a few times, but like not sure if you're aware, or I don't know if you guys know this. You don't need that shit. Like just heads on. Yeah, you're so strong and
You're
opinionated.
telling it, so it's not like you gotta ask people shit.
Yeah, just watch that stuff because I think you'll be surprised that when you just say, like right before the gun stuff, right? You said, not sure if you're aware of this, just say guns. What's the state, the setup?
You can get a gun and it takes a license in a week.
Yeah, that's so much stronger right there. It's almost like you weaken the setup just by, go for it, man. We want your opinions.
Good.
That's just my take, especially with your personality. It's gonna hit harder. People are like, what?
Because I have a garbage personality, so it really pays off.
You
with
are
the
so
crowd.
likable. I disagree.
He's a big guy. He's funny.
Yeah. You have a very likable presence. I had one little tag too, like you could say like you're like Marky Mark, only like taller.
Yeah, and I didn't blind an Asian guy in a street fight one time. Did we forget about that? He did that? Because he definitely did.
No, I didn't forget.
The Wahlbergs are so scummy.
And you're not on a shitty
Aren't
show.
they like a Jersey
That's the other
family or something? Where are they from?
They're from Boston.
They are?
They're
Living in Jersey.
They're like
their
dirty.
shows in
Yeah,
Jersey,
they're
no?
dirty. Yeah, no, they're.
They own a restaurant.
Oh, you didn't know? Hey, I'm from Boston. Hey, it's a Wahlberg. It's
Right.
like it's all it is. And everyone's somehow related to Maki Mak. Like everyone back home's like, I'm related to Maki Mak.
I
Second
love when you
cousin
say
Boya.
Maki Mock. That's so
Oh, the
so
accent. Yeah, people pick on. They're like, "Where's your accent?" I'm like, we don't all have that, but I can do one.
Maki Mock. I love it. Richie, do you have anything?
The only thing that I would say is, when you discuss getting torn apart by a Terminator, I would say just kind of flip it and give out the fact that you got torn apart, and then because it was from a Terminator, it was from fighting a Terminator.
Oh yeah, like when I was
Switching-
talking about shattering my.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
can box this Terminator,
Yeah.
and then I shatter my fist, and then the lasers go through my stomach. Did you say
I would
switch
say
that?
I would say put yourself in it instead of talking about
Right.
doing it.
You can act it
Yeah.
out, or you can just like explain the fight.
I like when people when you use the word like and then explain something that you hypothetically should do, I feel like it loses the actual story. Like just say that you're.
So I
doing
just say
it.
this is how it's going to definitely happen.
Just
'Cause I'm-
explain how it happens,
Okay.
then talk about it.
Okay.
And you could, on that rhythm of 3, because you said Terminator 1, Terminator 2, then your third one needs to be like Terminator 26.
I broke the rule of 3, and I did for that joke, full knowing because it's just there's so many. It's such a long.
You went to the rule of 6.
Yeah, I doubled it, and I've
I've
gotten different feedback on it.
Police Academy did that rule too.
And so it is. I've had people say they really like that I kind of draw out like it's
I thought it
that
was funny.
Family Guy principle part where it's like it goes to like
just keep going to the
long
point
and
of,
then it
like-
stops being funny and then you're like, oh, okay, it's funny again.
It's hard to get to that point when you're going long.
JB
Yeah.
Smooth does that. I don't know if you know JB Smooth.
Yeah, yeah.
JB Smooth will tell a joke, and you be like, okay, that was funny. And then he'll keep going, you're like, why the fuck is he still going? And then you're like, oh, that shit became funny again. Like, he gotta be tired, though.
Yeah.
If you don't give up on it, then
Yeah, like,
we won't give up
it's
on
you,
it.
though. Like, it's,
Yeah.
it becomes funny. It's like, it gets to the point where it's absurd and
With your
funny at the same
attitude.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more. I think you should talk about being an Uber driver. I'm sorry, like a retired teacher. I'm sure you do.
I do. I have teacher
That's
material. I mean, because when I started about 2 years ago, and I started with teacher stuff, and I still use it. Like if I have a bigger show, like that's probably my most
I
polished
bet
stuff.
you were an awesome.
Can I say something?
That was
No.
great.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Of course.
As you're a teaching material, do you still do it?
Yeah, if it's like a bigger show,
Like, do you like it?
I do.
The material?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that that become comics that used to be teachers.
Al Jackson.
Yeah, but it's like everybody does that. It's like if you used to be a cop, you tell jokes about, it's a cop, whatever. But it's like,
Tell stories about what you know.
yeah, I mean, he tells stuff about it what you know, but it's like,
I like the spin.
have a unique. I think that was like nice to see everybody have a unique.
Why are you not a teacher anymore?
Yeah, why are you
That's
not
all.
teaching anymore? Like,
Yeah.
Because Uber pays better.
Right.
Because I got offered retire. They offered me $5,000 to retire.
Oh.
30.
Because they didn't want you to teach anymore?
They offered it.
They
It was
couldn't
blanket
afford.
to the entire district, and they were like, "It doesn't matter." And I called their bluff. I had spent 30 years in the same town. I taught in my hometown on my family's old property. So I'd been there for 30 years. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die here. I gotta."
How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm turning 33 in a couple weeks.
Oh.
That's
Wow.
my comedy partner.
See, but
You didn't
that
have to say
is
comedy.
that is
We
a
know.
unique point of view, Maronzio. I think
Yeah.
that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
You probably heard us say it. if you just give a little flavor, you don't have to be like, I grew up here and I did that, you know, not like that.
They
But
pay
we
you
don't
more to
need those
retire than when they were
details,
paying you to teach.
yeah, that's hilarious.
If the details aren't hilarious, you don't need them.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But setting that up gives you then it explains
It's
a little
such
bit
that-
more. Of
It's that fucking alternative comedy scene that makes people do that shit. I know I sound like the angry
No,
guy,
I don't think anybody here is going to deny that.
No,
they
because the
all seem
alternative.
a
Here's
little-
what the alternative comedy
Ronzio's
scene
wearing tight pants. He's got the black, thick lens glasses.
and a beard and a flannel shirt in the summer.
He drives a Mini.
Here's what alternative comedy does. I think this is how they cheat comedy. They tell a joke that lasts a minute, and then they spend 9 minutes explaining that 1 minute joke. Like literally, that's what they do. They're like, so I woke up and then bam, the joke. Now let me tell you why I came up with that joke, because I'm sitting around and it's like, I don't want to hear your fucking bio on that joke. Just get to the next joke, bitch. Like, it's that.
I like seeing when you go to like open mics, you know, try to hit as many as you can,
Yeah.
and then you see like a bevy of alt comics show up at the same
Oh, they
time.
look like spoken word people.
And
Yeah.
a 3 or 5 minute set is just it runs. They can't get
And
it. Like,
Maria
they don't know how to
Panther
do
will be
that.
our guest next week. No, I'm kidding.
Maria's different though.
No.
She's completely.
amazing, yeah.
But that's the earlier generation
Yes.
of alternative comedy.
That is true.
And alternative comedy also is
It's not an interpretation of alternative comedy.
well, yeah. Alternative comedy is comedy without act out. They just do a lot of fucking talking. It's like, come on.
At some point,
Perform, bitch.
yeah, there has to be an element. I mean, you have to be personal, likable, and honest. Ultimately,
I don't want to know that you know a lot of big words. Just fucking tell a joke. That's what it is. It's smart people trying to impress each other with the fact that they got a vocabulary. It's like, I didn't come here for this shit.
Nobody ever believes that about me.
No,
When they see me, they're
well, I
like,
didn't.
This guy is too smart for his
Jeff
own
May.
good.
this guy's an idiot.
He's
This guy-
dumbing himself down. I don't like this.
Did he just use that word? That is too big. Supercalifragilistic.
Who taught him that? Who taught him that word? Yeah.
Jeff, I love you. You're very funny. I hope
you.
to see more of you.
He's doing
Yeah.
a spot tonight on
he is?
Drop-In. And Maronzio's doing the drop-in.
What?
Yeah, but-
Maronzio,
yeah.
tonight.
We're on a show together
8
tonight.
o'clock.
See how that just happened?
What?
You know how that happens?
Came in, not knowing each other, now we're working together.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Life
Jeff.
moves too
Thank you so much. I
for
really
joining
appreciate
us.
all the help.
Very excited. Wow, another fun episode of the FlappCast, eh, Maronzio?
I had fun. Well, this is my first one, so I can't say this is another fun one. This is
What?
the first fun
This is your
one for
only
me.
one
Wow,
for
you-
now, and then you'll be
you're no
back.
longer a
I hope
virgin.
again.
I'll come back.
You come back again.
I'll definitely come
And
back.
come this Friday and Saturday, please.
Fun
8 and 10
shows.
o'clock.
If people are in the surrounding areas, I have a new hour.
And it's all new from what they saw here last time.
Yes.
You were here last year.
Yes.
It's all new.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
I don't like, I get uncomfortable.
With old stuff. You
Well-
don't do new stuff.
I blend, but
Right.
I would say I'll do an hour, 45 will be new.
An hour and 45. No.
No.
45.
Yeah.
I know, 45. I got it. 45
No.
new,
45
15
new,
old.
15 old.
Come see the 45
Yeah.
new
Come
and
see-
the 15 old.
15 old, we
It's all
don't even
good.
know it's old. It's going to be so nasty.
It's going to be
and
spliced
blended in.
together.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a mixtape.
Richie, do you know who's in Claremont this
Salsa.
weekend? Oh, my co-host duties. Come on.
I didn't know. Listen, I am not going to be in Claremont this weekend.
Well,
Okay.
got that covered.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to knowing
Isn't
who it
Matt
is.
Christian this weekend?
I don't believe so.
Oh boy, hold on.
check out flapperscomedy.com.
Joshua Snyder, if you're listening, yes, all our schedule is posted. We do over 40 shows a week. Do you know
Holy
that?
crap.
It's insane.
That's a lot of
So
trouble.
it is, and a lot of great comics, and we've been having a lot of great drop-ins. And I'm going to say this on the air, though I'm not allowed to say it, but we do have a surprise celebrity guest on Sunday and Monday. You can
6
check our
shows.
website. On October 2nd, you will hear who it is.
Oh, shit.
But it's probably the biggest
You're
comedian
going to tell me?
we've ever
when we
had
get-
here.
You're going to tell me we get off the air?
I'll give you a hint. He's from
If
Philly.
you are listening, buy tickets, even though it's not announced, and you won't be disappointed. I'm telling you, $35 tickets, and it's going
It's
to be
already
great.
selling and people don't know who it is.
Yes, and
crazy.
I can't say, but again, October 2nd, you will find out. But in the meantime, come to see Maronzio
Yeah,
Vance.
Maronzio.
Please.
We'll tell you
Wanna see some
Friday
good
and
comedy?
Saturday.
I had fun.
Yeah, thanks again for joining us
He's
on
smiling.
another exciting episode of the FlappCast. I'm Barbara Holliday out. Thanks, Richy Leis and Maronzio Vance.
Thank you.
Mike's still going on?
Justin Foster, I'm gonna choke you in front of all these people. Everybody who employs you is gonna want you to get choked.
Thank you, just say thank you for, and then post this.
I appreciate it.
And then you can retweet it.
Oh.
If you would like it.